So hi everyone, this is a little process video of me making a postcard for a friend. It's obviously you can see that I don't have a stand, but I have a phone with tons of space now, and I was sitting outside in North Carolina where I stayed for the summer, and on this enclosed porch, and so I used this vintage recipe card box and then a mason jar to come up with the correct height, and this tiny glass side table. So I'm flipping through these awesome sticker books with lots of labels and these really cool vertical strips. And I'll link all of the products that I use below, and maybe I'll find where you can get them. We'll see how much I can stand putting detail into this first video. But I'm very excited to be sharing this with you, and I love the sticker book. I've kind of hoarded it, and I wanted to get out of my head for this and just go through and pick things that stood out to me, like this so funny elephant, and kind of go with this color theme. So you can see I'm pulling out lots of neutrals, yellows, and creams, and I'll start getting into greens in this Art Nouveau booklet. I actually got this as well as the Japanese themed sticker book when I was in Brooklyn. So my first year at college, I was in a triple room with two really great girls who I'm now really, really great friends with. And I spent March break with both of them, but one of them is from Brooklyn, and so we got to go to a lot of thrift stores and art stores, and I blew a lot of money that maybe I shouldn't have. But I'm so excited to really start digging into this and make the purchases worthwhile. The first one I actually got in Germany when I was studying abroad last fall. And I was studying in Prague, but I went to several cities in Germany, and I took German in high school and college, so I'm much better at writing and reading it. I get a little stage fright with speaking, but I fell in love with Dresden in particular and returned for a day trip right before I left. So, and this is another sticker book, I believe Daphne Diaries, which I was so excited to be in Europe where I could find these things more affordably and more commonly. And these stickers are also from shops in Brooklyn, and so I'm just pulling all these things together. You can see there's like this sassy little goose, and this is a sticker box with some bigger stickers as well as these tiny ones that I got for like $3 at Michael's, and they're very cutesy, so I didn't know whether I'd be able to use them, but they did have lots of green. And so this friend that I'm making a postcard for, I'm also keeping him in mind. He transferred in, and we became fast friends for sharing some of the same opinions about comments in class and things like that. And I picked out this music paper for him because he sang in choir, and he's Christian. And we both studied religion and politics, him with a more leaning on queer theology and social justice issues, and me a little bit more, I think, on like implications, particularly around substance use and alternative religions. And so I did my senior thesis on psychedelics, and I recently read his dissertation because he just finished a master's program, which is part of why I was putting together this postcard. And he's a giant. He is so sassy and funny, and a great support. I have him in his grandma. This is the stickiest double-sided tape I've ever used. I bought it in Scotland when I was there for a long weekend. I studied abroad at the same time that this friend was getting his master's in Scotland, which is also where he studied abroad in his junior or senior year. I can't remember now. So that was really, really cool, and I got it right before I left back to Prague. Had anarchist pizza with him, and I believe this was a cocktail called the Nut Gobbler, and on a little day trip. So, and I just pulled this music paper over to the other side to make it a little more cohesive. And I'm using those vegetable strips in a Tetris pattern. It helps me get out of my head and create this cool pattern. And I add a little tape because stickers are pretty notoriously unreliable. And because this is going through the mail and we'll get that rough treatment and do some traveling that isn't enclosed by an envelope or in an art journal, I wanted to make sure that it wasn't going to peel on him. So again, cohesion by cutting the sticker in half and using it on both sides. And I use the vegetables because he has a turnip tattoo, and I'm so excited that I started liking turnips this summer, which is one of my mom's favorite vegetables, and I love it now, but I always had trouble with it, but I loved his tattoo. I thought it was so aesthetically pleasing, and now I feel like maybe I can get one and not just be a copycat for no reason. So I'm peeling things around and trying to figure out some layers. That ticket is from a de-stash done by a wonderful vendor on Instagram and has lots of great deals. I happen to be able to get a large flat rate box of ephemera and different vintage materials when she was moving, and so I'll try to link that, her shop as well. I just have to make sure which one it is. I tend to get a couple of them confused for their usernames. So, and I'm playing around again with some different colors and what can fill this awkward space. I had a lot of trouble at this point trying not to overthink, wanting to keep that eye of the tiger on that right side area, but still blend this together because it still looks like just a jumble of separate pieces. And this is an upcycled cardboard piece. It's the flap, or the front flap of a really cheapo drawing pad that my mom had gotten and I ended up taking with me. So I finished all the paper and I thought, let me also cut this cover up. And I ended up really liking the eye of the tiger. So, and I pulled out this little, she creates these bundles by theme and color. And this particular one that was in the large flat rate box was really versatile with different colors and different pieces. So that's where I got all these little tags that I pulled out. And I keep it in a little goodie box that I have near me for like paper, like old papers, I suppose, which is basically all her stuff. And it's really convenient. So gluing up some corners here, making sure everything is stuck down. And then I want to pull back. So I have that cute little cat because my friend is a cat lady, grandma. That's actually what I have him in my phone as. And here I am with the cutesy stickers again that I love and I'm trying to incorporate. So I use the prickly much on a squash or zucchini, both of which I love. Just as a little punny aside, which fits his humor really well. And then I'm trying to incorporate these little succulents and cacti without letting them overwhelm or really clash with the styles that are set up because we have lots of faded deep colors. And I want it on both sides so that, again, it keeps that cohesion going. And I'm kind of over-decorating because postcards don't have that much room to write. And I always want to write these long messages, but I also need a space for, this thing called the address. And I pull out these cute little stickers of bears, and it's perfect because he's this really tall guy who looks like he's 3 feet taller than me, and he gives really good hugs, even though both of us are kind of like, we enjoy our personal space, don't touch me, unless like I invite you in. And I use one on each side. I tried this little fish for the cat, but it just wasn't, it got lost with all the pattern. So I'll save it for another day. maybe another card for one of my other cat-loving friends. And then I pull out a pen, I believe. Here we are. And I'm ready to write my message. So here you can see I just start scribbling out my congratulations, and so happy to have him back in the U.S. with me, and just not have 5-hour difference. So that's pretty much the end. I'll include some still shots so that you can get a better look at the details, and I look forward to seeing you again. Let me know if you have any feedback, and I'll try to incorporate it in my next videos. Thanks.